One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.
You know, many times when we hear about founders of businesses talking about how they came up with the idea or the core value proposition of their enterprise, they say, well, I had this unfair advantage because, and then they fill in the blanks of what their life was about and how they had different experiences that maybe connected dots that nobody else saw. For you as a former head coach, do you think that leaders with your profile of having led student athletes as a head coach, is there an unfair advantage to a degree that profile has in being an athletic director?
I think there's an advantage of having walked in the moccasins of our student athletes, or take it a step further, being a collegiate head coach. You know, I was very fortunate. I was a Division I head coach at Miami University when I was 21. I was head volleyball coach, head softball coach. And Matt, I didn't know what I was doing, but I watched Miami's a cradle of coaches. I watched the best coaches in all sports, and I mimicked their behaviors, their work ethic. And I always felt that athletics enhanced my life, and wouldn't it be great if it enhanced other people's lives? I think I also benefited by being at great institutions, and there's so many, but my personal and professional career was 5 years at Miami, 7 years at Chapel Hill, 9 years at University of Michigan, 5 years at University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and 12 years here at Denver. Because of that, I've had a lot of exposure. I'm really old. A lot of exposure to a lot of conferences. But it's made me look at every culture and every campus and program differently. You know, what worked in Ann Arbor may or may not work here. So to really get to know the culture where you're at. One of the things that we did here at DU, which was very unique, the university support has always been strong. But when I came here, the programs were tiered, and they were tiered with hockey and skiing, men's and women's basketball being tier level 1, and then our lacrosses and soccers, volleyball, gymnastics 2, everybody else 3. And what I went to the board and the chancellor with was, I won't spend or ask you for a penny more. Just have faith that I'm going to reallocate the funding so that we will have much more broad-based success. Mm-hmm. You have that broad-based success academically, athletically, socially, I'll be able to raise more money. Mm-hmm. And so what we did was, over a 3-year period, got rid of the tiering structure. I went without an executive assistant and support staff for a few years. We cut our static advertisement and marketing dollars. Now, this is 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And went much more into electronic and building relationships. And based on a very, very strong culture, you know, we were lucky. Sports corporate sponsorship for our DU sports programs has been in place for over 25 years. So it started with Diane Wendt and Joy Burns and Chancellor Emeritus Dan Ritchie. We've always been relationship-driven. You know, I'm not going to be able to raise a lot of money because of us being on TV or any specific conference affiliation, but rather ours is a cultural fit. It's a relationship, a partnership where people really feel that they're a part of us. So we're very transparent, but, you know, changing that tiering structure made us look at what we are doing differently. And so the expectation was, and it is today, every one of our programs should be first or second in whatever conference we're in. And that's what we aspire to be. We aspire to have a 100% graduation rate. We aspire to make sure that this is the most rewarding but the most difficult 4 or 5 years any young man or woman will have, but they'll be a pioneer for life. that we take our word, our commitment very strongly. But it's one where there's a passion here because we can make a collective difference.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.